We will dig deeper into the strategies into creating wealth from rags to riches. I'm sorry, my friends, if this vlog will offend you, but let me tell you the story is based on a medical perspective. Abram was a nomad. He was hearing voices to go to Canaan. He has this imaginary friend called God. He also have these al-Nascharisms of receiving blessings in a lot of people from his imaginary friend. So based on his delusions and daydreaming, he went to Canaan and waits for his imaginary friend to give him the land owned by other people. He then moved to Egypt because there was famine in Canaan. Using trickery, Abram became very rich. He used his wife Sarai to trick the Pharaoh of Egypt. He also used this trick with King Abimelech. Abram was driven away from Egypt and he returned to Canaan. He continued his hallucinations of God, promising him abundant children and possession of the land. His imaginary friend said to him to count the number of stars, and they will be the number of his children. His imaginary friend promised him that he will own the land of Canaan. Abram changed his name to Abraham, as dictated by his imaginary friend. He also changed his wife's name to Sarah. Now Abraham was 100 years old when his one child Isaac from his wife Sarah was born. When Isaac was grown up and was able to speak, Abraham's imaginary friend told him to sacrifice his son. Abraham did not hesitate. He made preparations for the sacrifice. He was about to slay his son, but an angel of God stopped him. A ram was sacrificed in his place. This was a genesis of sacrificing a sheep for each Israelite. Abraham died without fulfilling the majority of his dreams. Abraham could be diagnosed with the disorder of schizophrenia. Let's just do this in simple terms. Throw away all those crappy scientific terms. I'm not into medicine anyway. I just want to tell you what's possible. If it doesn't help you in any way, just throw it away. You are just wasting money on something that is always experimental. What are the good things we can learn from this? You must be very persistent if you want to be like Abraham. In fact, we Christians are supposed to imitate Abraham. It was faith that drove Abram into a sort of madness and followed the instructions of the Spirit of God. The faith here is based on invisible things. He obeyed the voice and did it anyway. God loves Abraham very much because of this, and we must emulate the character of Abraham. Now listen, Abraham used trickery and became very rich with it. Some sensitive people or exceptionally moralistic individuals may protest that trickery is evil. I don't think so. God was okay with it. As long as you are just trying to protect yourself or you are not trying to hurt anyone, it is okay. Now the most important characteristic of Abraham was his absolute obedience to God. No matter what it takes, he did it even if he didn't see God. Israel struggled from rags to riches also, the same way Abraham did. Next up is the life of Jacob. Jacob is a trickster too. There is a sibling rivalry between the brothers Esau and Jacob. Jacob tricked his father Isaac to receive the blessings of Esau, the firstborn son of the family. Jacob ran away from his family to avoid the murderous rage of Esau. He went into a life of destitution and struggle. Jacob is a dreamer. He depended on the invisible God to provide him food and clothing along his journey. When he arrived to his uncle Laban, he worked 7 years for Rachel. He was in love with her. But Laban deceived Jacob with Leah and made him work for another 7 years for Rachel. Jacob worked 20 years for his uncle Laban. He was deliberately cheated by Laban 10 times. Despite all of this, Jacob's characteristics were hardworking, inquisitive, and resourceful. Jacob became exceedingly prosperous because of these characteristics. He manipulated the minds of the sheep and goats using fresh cut branches of poplar, almond, and plane trees. He made white stripes on them by peeling the bark and exposing the wood of the branches. He placed these peeled branches on the watering troughs. That's how he gained streaked, speckled, spotted, or dark-colored animals. This is how Jacob became wealthy from rags to riches. He did not rely on his parents. Conflicts and misunderstandings arose between Laban and Jacob. Jacob decided to flee and run away without telling Laban. They later, they later settled an agreement. On his journey, Jacob was hallucinating about angels. He always relies on the promises of God in his dream to make him prosper and numerous. I hope you have learned new tricks from this, from rags to riches. I'll see you again next time. God bless.